Welcome back to PWR Network. Ann Arbor, Michigan is the broadcast home of PWR Network, the world in your hands.
And now, Almost Anything Goes, with your host, Ray LaPietra.
Hi, I'm Ray LaPietra, your host of Almost Anything Goes, a multi-format show where we talk about just about every subject there is. We're on the PWR Network, and today we'll be talking with Timothy and Adam LaPietra, my two guests. The subject of today's show is Like Father, Like Son. And it's a conversation between me and my two boys, and I think you'll like today's show. So here we go. To do Kansas City Fashion Week, you've done the biggest show in this town. Just like Fashion Week in any town, like whether it be Seattle or New York or Dallas, it's as high as you go. Now you have another show coming up, the Beauty and Bowtie Show, which is another one of the top tier shows at Kansas City. But what's interesting about that show in March is you're not walking that runway, you're now a designer featuring your clothing in that show. So how do you feel about that? Not just being a model, but now being a designer.
Well, having been a model, I definitely know what that feels like. And so when I was a model, walking for designers, I always looked at it as, oh, they're just putting clothes on me and I'm walking for them, and they really don't do that much. But I didn't realize how much work went into being a designer. So now, having been a model, I really start to appreciate both sides of the field rather than just the one.
And in many cases, Tim, and I know this from being in the business 31 years, designers in many cases started out being models. So that's why they're so particular about the models they hire. But the good thing is, if you can have both, which you do, that makes you a much better designer, just like it makes you a better model on a runway, because you see both sides of that. And the name of your company is Luker and Company. So tell me about Luker and Company.
Growing up, I skateboarded a lot, and I really got into that scene. And so that's had a big influence on my style of clothing, or what I choose to wear. And so I've always been really big into fashion. I've always put a lot of thought and effort into what I wear and how I look. I've always really cared about it. So why not start my own company? So the desire has always been there to have my own t-shirt or clothing company, but finally just the opportunity presented itself, and I decided to just go with it. So but Luker & Company is just a t-shirt company right now for men, and it's a more urban streetwear kind of surfer style, the stuff you'd see in California. But we're not limited to just the audience. We're going to make designs that are that anybody could wear. That we're going to have multiple flavors, where if you don't like this, well, don't get off the page, because click over to the next page, because we got something new for you. There's a whole nother side to us. They're clean. The best way I could describe it is simple yet sophisticated. Clean designs, not too busy on the t-shirt. Your eyes aren't going all over the place, but simple yet sophisticated. Something that all of us can appreciate.
How do you feel about being a young adult that's self-employed?
I definitely appreciate what my parents do for me a lot more now, seeing as how I'm busy. I definitely don't have as much time on my hands as I used to just hang out and do the stuff that most kids my age are doing. I'm not going to school right now, but I am definitely keeping busy.
What do you feel are the biggest challenges and things that young adults are facing in today, not only in business, but just in life in general?
The biggest problem I feel like people my age face is we're not being taught what we need to be taught in schools, where it's a bunch of busy work that really is not preparing people for life. Most of the kids my age, they fresh out of high school, they go into college, they're not working because they're too busy with class, so there's no money coming in, and then they get out of college and they just have so much debt because there are these student loans that they're in last place and they're not even in the race yet. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges I'd say people my age are facing, is just the money issues and trying to make it in this world, and people saying, oh, you got to go to college, and then people like going to college, and then 4 years later when they get out of college they're like, well, what have I been doing for 4 years? I haven't, unless you really dedicate yourself to it. I've seen a lot of people fail out of college, and it's just, I'd say don't go to college unless you know why you're going there, unless you're so passionate about what you're going there to learn, because that is what it's for. We're learning. That's what college is to learn. And people go there and they party, they don't learn anything. Then they get out of college and, it's like, what did you take away from that? What did that 100,000 just get you? It's like, what do you have to show for it? And the problem is most people don't have a whole lot to show for it.
This is Almost Anything Goes. I'm your host, Raymond LaPietra, and we'll be right back on the PWR Network.
You're listening to PWR Network, the world in your hands. By all means, we enjoy hearing from you. Leave a comment in the comment box just below here on the show notes. We also would so enjoy receiving your support as well. Kindly visit pwrtalk.com and look on the right-hand side where you can share a donation of any amount. For those who are listening to us around the world, thank you to all the millions of listeners listening to PWR Talk Network. Aloha, Soul Dancer here, your host for Soul Searching, and a quick shout out to PWR Network. Thank you to Lillian Caldwell for creating a station where I can produce quality shows that are then rebroadcast numerous times throughout the week, the month, and the year. The level of value I receive from my payment for my hosting program is priceless. Folks, come on out to pwrtalk.com and click on the About link and check out what it takes to be a host. I'm sure you'll be quite surprised at how easy it is to join our family. Or even more simply, give Lillian a call at 734-827-9406. Again, to become a host, give Lillian a call, 734-827-9406. I look forward to you becoming part of our family. Aloha!
Welcome back. I'm Ray LaPietra, your host on Almost Anything Goes, and this is the PWR Network. Let's resume our conversation and interview with Timothy and Adam. Adam, after hearing about those other fashion shows and print and all the other stuff you've done, and that big story with ITS, that leads me to ask you to tell us a little bit about what you did with Rob Riggle. Now, just to set this up, you did a big national on-camera booking with him, and you were on-camera principal, and this was for the NFL Sports, and it aired on Riggle's Picks. So tell our audience a little bit about that.
Well, what happened is my dad set me up a commercial with Rob Riggle, and I heard it. I was, truthfully, when I heard about it, I was nervous. I was like, well, am I gonna have to remember all this stuff? I'm gonna be working with a big actor. I was nervous. I was shaking kinda, and so driving there, I was calmed down. I was out of school, and it was a day's relax, and so we were going there, and we drove to downtown to the place we were filming at, and I get there, and we find out that the second person that was supposed to be there, which was a girl, another kid, didn't show up. So then I found out that I would have a lot more parts and a lot more stuff that I would have to say and do and remember. And so once we were about to start, I see Rob Riggle walk in. He walks in, sits down. He says, "Hey," talking to me and stuff. And then we started. And truthfully, once we started filming, I was 10 times more comfortable than I was the day before. I was sitting there, and the script was right there on the teleprompter. They told me to focus on Rob Riggle, and I actually went right through it, and I thought I did really well, and I had a great time.
Well, what's interesting is there's a backstory to that, because originally you were going to be a background extra. And then when I get there, the producer's all upset because one of the girls that was supposed to be there wasn't. And at that point, he didn't know what to do, and all the money and all these people standing by. And I said, I read the script on that, and you could rewrite that, and my son could read that, and he could play opposite Rob Riggle, and he could be a primary on camera. And he goes, "Is your son that good?" And I said, "He's that good." And at that point, he goes, "Prove it." So that's when you went up, and then he wrote the credits, the lines rather, and then you read the lines. And then at that point, he said, "Quiet on the set, we got speed and action." And never looking at the teleprompter again, you just performed it flawlessly. And see, you couldn't see it, Adam, but what was funny was all the people, there's about 100 people around you, and they're all nodding their heads like, unbelievable. And you remember what Rob Riggle said at the end? He said, kid, you got a future in this, because, oh my gosh, you didn't mess up once. And you were there about 3 hours doing lines and stuff, but it turned out so well. But Rob Riggle was really, really impressed with that. And you remember he messed up. he had problems with his lines and stuff, but you didn't. That's when I knew you were a natural. All right, so let's talk about this for a minute. You see all these people on Nickelodeon and Disney, all these TV programs, and I've seen you at the House of Mimic. You do it as good as they do. You repeat the line and do it as well as they do. So it always makes me laugh when I see you do accents and stuff like that. But what do you think about seeing young people like you that are acting and doing that on TV? What's your opinion about that?
I think it's truthfully amazing and also inspiring because I understand that maybe some of those people, they work their way to get up there, and I can tell that they enjoy doing it. And I would love to be on Disney Channel. I've had experience from acting before, and I had a great time. I knew I shouldn't have been as nervous as I was. I'm truthfully grateful that I have a dad that's in this industry working with people who are producers and people that can put me where I want to be and do something that I really want to do. I truthfully have a lot of respect for all those kids on Disney Channel because people just think, oh, they read off a paper, they go up there, they say some stuff in front of the screen, and then they run off, they put makeup on. It's not that hard. It's actually a lot of work. It's a lot of reruns. It's a lot of standing. It's hours of repeating stuff if they need to get it right. And I think I have a lot of respect for them.
Because a lot of people have no idea what goes into it. Same thing with models when they act and they walk on the runway or they do print. People go, well, I could do that. Well, get up there and move. Give us 8 compositional lines and give us 10 variations in each of them and do that in 5 different outfits. Show me how you do that. And in many cases, people go, oh, well, I didn't realize it was that. But a professional makes it look easy. Just like that day with Rob Riggle, you made that look real easy. And so I see that you have a natural talent and ability. And while I'll open doors for you, same as Timothy, I'll help you. I'll give you a hand up, but not a hand out. You guys have to do it yourself. No father, no mother can do it all for you. And it'd actually be hurting you guys if I tried to do all of it for you. Because I would ruin your gift to the industry, your gift to people. So the goal is to inspire you, to open the door. And Timothy, that's why I'm proud of you. I've been self-employed and owned a number of businesses for a lot of years. And it's fun to see you at 19 years of age to be a designer. You're going to walk a runway and you're going to have models showing your designer clothes in just a matter of a half month from now at 19. There are people that don't do that at 50, 60. There are people who never accomplish that. And yet you're doing it on your own. I'm just in the background helping you a little bit, but you're doing it.
It's definitely something that I've wanted to do for so long, like I said, being a model, being on that side of it, it's fun to be on this side of it, but it's also a lot more work than I originally had thought. So I definitely respect designers. Not that I didn't respect them before, but a lot more now. There's a lot more to it than just putting clothes on people and having them walk for you. I mean, there's so much to think about, and really have a lot more respect for them. So it's nice to do on both sides and just having that all around knowledge about everything, because with modeling and fashion and music, and it's just the entertainment industry. It all ties together, So I'm really just trying to broaden my knowledge with everything. So it was a challenge that I wanted to give myself, and I'm going with it. So it'll be really fun.
I know you're going to make it. You already have in many levels, but I have no doubt as to what you'll do. And you remember when I gave you advice, as I do often, regularly.
Yeah.
We don't just ride in the car. It's school. We talk. We learn.
Every time.
But through that course, I've taught you to think critically, to solve problems in your mind, to realize that if you don't get it done, it doesn't get done.
I feel like a lot of people let their emotions dictate the outcomes of certain situations, when logic, as hard as it is, needs to outweigh emotions sometimes. And so, just thinking ahead, for me, it was, I remember I was kind of in a rut, I just not where I wanted to be. This is about 3 years ago, and just had all these dreams and aspirations, but just really didn't know what to do with it. And I wasn't challenging myself enough. I wasn't putting myself out there like I needed to be. I feel like people really need to, instead of letting emotions dictate the now moment, let logic dictate the future. Think about the future. Plan ahead. Don't, like, so a few years ago, like, it was all my friends, I'm in high school, it's time to go party, or it's time to go do this. And rather than partying, I would find myself in my bedroom. And at the time, it was writing lyrics, you know. That was, and I still do it. I still do music, but it was just, I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. I wanted to. I mean, sure, emotion. Like I felt I was lonely. I wanted to go out and have fun and, you know, not be, you know, working hard and stuff. But I knew in my mind that in the long run it would pay off. I knew that it would be worth it. You know, whatever was going on out there, I knew that it didn't matter. You know, it gets easier too, especially when you see things start happening. And then you like kind of forget, like, oh, working hard isn't even, it's fun now, you know, it's happening. So, you know, it's all about just having a goal and going after it and letting nothing get in your way. Don't let anything get in your way. That's some of the best advice. Don't live in the now moment. Plan ahead, have a goal, and achieve it. Know you're going to achieve it. Know you're going to achieve it. Go after it. Nothing is stopping you.
I find with goals that life is full of distractions.
Yes.
And oftentimes distractions come to us through the form of other people. So you just figure that into the goal. If you make that as part of the concept when you start, then you've already anticipated that. Then you figure ways to allow that to work for you. But let me say this to you in advice. You do want to enjoy your now moments. So remember, you don't sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. You plan for a better tomorrow. Organized. You think it ahead. You're always ahead of yourself. But enjoy your todays too. So make sure you keep that in mind.
Well, yeah, I understand that as well. You know, I'm not saying don't have fun, but yeah, just of course you gotta enjoy the now moments sometimes. But I feel like the now moments that we want are a product of our hard work. So in order to get those now moments that you want to enjoy, you got to put in the hard work. And the now moments that you think are like, oh, this is it, man. Like, or I'm just using this as a reference or as an example. But in being in high school, you know, it's always like, oh, what party is this weekend, or what's everybody doing after the basketball game? And those now moments, you know, they're fun and all, but you know, the stuff like what I'm doing now is so much better. It's so much better. Like I'm working hard, and those moments are the ones I really want to be enjoying, not what back in high school partying and stuff. And you know, it's just it's a lot better when you have a goal and you achieve things, and really you appreciate it more when it comes out. Like you work hard and then it comes to you. You appreciate it a lot more.
So Adam, you've seen what Timothy's done. How do you think your older brother has influenced you?
My older brother, truthfully, has influenced me a lot. He's taught me a lot. He's shown me a lot. And I've seen what he's done, and I know what to do and what not to do. And my father and my brother, they've showed me and told me what's right and what could be wrong. What should I do and what shouldn't I do? Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone goes through hard times. And when my brother does, not only does he think about, I need to fix these mistakes over myself, I need to teach my brother not to make these mistakes. And it's definitely an advantage being a younger sibling, because you get to learn from your older brother's mistakes or your older sister's mistakes or your sibling. And I don't take that for granted at all. And I love my brother and I love my dad and everything they've taught me. And he's taught me a lot of things, like keep my head up, never take anything for granted, make sure to be humble to people, trust your friends, give in return. And I definitely respect my brother and I love him for the things he's taught me and showed me.
What do you think the biggest challenge for young kids like you, people are facing today?
Truthfully, today, around our generation, there's a lot of things that kids are going through. It's bullying, it's being focused and wrapped around and basically praising technology, it's girls, And around middle school and high school, the start of high school, kids are starting to get into drugs and stuff, and fights, especially fights at school. There's been tons, and I think there's a lot of things that kids think are so hard to overcome, when really they can look right through things and focus on the good. I think a lot of people are focusing on the bad instead of looking at the good things in life. A lot of kids in my school are focused on why their life is bad, their life sucks, why nothing's going right, while they're losing friends, instead of how they can make it better and what is really good in their life, such as girls who harm themselves, self-harm, and bullying is mainly what I think the biggest issue in our generation today.
What advice would you give to other people? Because you've learned a lot, Adam. You might be 13, but you act a lot older than that. So what would you give them as advice?
Truthfully, I've had people come up to me, and everyone has their opinion about something or someone. Like, they don't like them, they don't like what they're doing, what they're wearing. And in all honesty, a lot of bullying is based off jealousy. A lot of hate is based off what a person has and you don't have, and that's why you throw your anger at them, and that's why you try to harm them with words, is because you're so insecure and so wrapped up on why, like, you're angry that they have that and you don't, when really you should be happy for them and be glad for them that they have that.
It's easy to look at other people and be like, oh man, he's exactly who I want to be. He's wears the clothes that I want to wear. He's whatever, whatever it is, whatever you want that somebody else may have. Rather than looking at it as, oh, they have it and I don't, look at it as, well, I see what they have. I respect that and I want it. So work towards it. Don't work against yourself. Work towards it. Work with the people. Don't turn your back on the very people who are going to help you. Like, take advantage of it. If somebody has something that you want, I'm not saying use people, but rather than get angry and throw hatred towards them, who's to say that they can't be your new best friend? Have you even talked to the person? Maybe not. Maybe you have, and they really are not a very nice person. Then you do have a reason to feel the way you do. But a lot of people just have these opinions. They have nothing to back them.
So Adam, besides the business things we've talked about, modeling, all of that, do you have any hobbies or anything else you do?
Skateboarding is something that brings to me a lot of joy. I enjoy doing it, even though maybe I'm not the best out of the best skateboarder in the world. I skate I'm not skating to look to be pro. I'm skating to have fun. It's something I really love. I love doing it because all my friends do it. I love meeting together and going to the skate park and hanging out. I love learning new things, and truthfully, it's a big passion of mine that I really love doing.
I'm Ray LaPietra, your host on Almost Anything Goes on the PWR Network. We've been interviewing Timothy and Adam LaPietra. That completes this show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you for listening to PWR Network. I'm Lillian Caldwell, the founder of PWR Network. I personally thank you, as well as my other listeners, for your support. To enjoy the benefits being heard by our 8 million plus listeners, call me at 734-827-9406 to explore how to become a PWR Network host or sponsor. Once again, I'm Lillian Caldwell, the founder of PWR Network. Thank you for listening to this program. We look forward to hearing from you.